And good afternoon, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. A big shout out to someone first of all, but the video is going to contain some Celtic transfer activity that is a bit of a surprise concerning Gustav Lagerbielke. But before we talk about all that and away ticket situation in Scottish football, because I think that needs to be addressed very, very early on in the season. But first of all, yesterday, this morning's video, a big shout out to Anthony Fagan, who joined the One Celtic Fans View Celtic Supporters Club, and a big shout out to Stephen Johnston. Stephen joined the One Celtic Fans View yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, but I got this really nice message, and Stephen will get your carers to get back in touch, and I'm going to send you out some One Celtic Fans View merchandise just for you. I'll get that sent out to you. Just so you know, Stephen cannot read or write, and if you could read out the comments for him, he is a big fan of your channel. I'm his support worker writing this for him. He will reply with an emoji. Thanks. Stephen, I'm absolutely taken aback for that. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, first of all, and becoming a member. If as many people as we can give Stephen as much love as possible, because it's people like Stephen that makes this channel really, really special. And I mean that with a million on it. I'm gobsmacked, truly gobsmacked. Thank you, Stephen, anyway. And I think that comment I have pinned that comment so that it's at the top of the video from this morning. And wow. But yeah, if you can get in touch with your carer the next week or so, and I'll get you sent out some One Celtic Fans View merchandise to you. And next up is the fact that we need to talk about the away allocation at football. Yesterday, I put a poll up. It did have 778 votes. It's not a massive amount of people, you're going to say, but 778 votes regardless. And it said, is Scottish football doing itself more harm by looking at away fans? And the first picture was one of the sections covered by Hibs in the game on Sunday. And 90% said, yes, it's stupid. Another 10%, no, let them struggle, which is basically what clubs are doing, if you ask me. We all know the situation with the Rangers, the Sefco in disguise. We're now, I think it's 2.5 or 5% of the allocation, something ridiculous like that. But other clubs have followed suit over the past year or so. Aberdeen have followed suit. Well, they've been reducing the allocation, the away allocation. Is it doing more harm or good for Scottish football? And personally, I think it's doing more harm when you see that clubs are struggling. Some clubs will say they're not struggling financially, but there's other clubs that will say that, yeah, we could do a bit more money, but they don't want the Celtic to take up a majority of tickets. I think it's complete madness. I don't think it's going to change this season. But when you look at when Scott Brown had Celtic at Ayr United earlier on in the summer, and the fact that Ayr United sold as many tickets as they could when Celtic came to town. And Scott Brown even came out and said, he said, look, Celtic coming to town and filling this allocation would be worth up to around about £50,000 to Scott Brown as a manager. That would allow him to recruit another decent player, another good player into the club, which is, that's what you want to happen in Scottish football. I seen a stupid message on Twitter earlier today saying a Dundee fan complaining about Celtic better never moan about financial parity again when it comes to the Champions League. And I was like, you're a Dundee fan. Dundee is a club that's reduced allocations as well. I was like, how stupid can you get? And his comment was, the quicker we get you out of Scottish football, the better. Well, that's never going to happen anytime soon, is it now? So stop being silly. Anyway, let's get on to the Celtic transfer news this morning. This afternoon now, actually. Gustav Lagerbielke is a player that Brendan Rodgers said that he did not want at the club at Christmas time. He had a transfer heading out to Italy. That transfer was put paid to with the injury of Cameron Carter-Vickers. And then he was left at Celtic and didn't really get any game time. We all felt badly. Well, I felt badly for Gustav because I thought he was going to be a cracking player for us if he was given the opportunity. You've got to remember he did score with a header in the Champions League last season, which not a lot of people have done for Celtic, so I thought he might have got a run after that, but he didn't. He was narrowed out the team, and he's been told that he can leave the club again, and a club came in for him. Yes, a club back in Sweden. Swedish giants Malmo have made an attempt to sign Lagerbielke and bring him back to Sweden, but he does not want to head back to Sweden just yet. We all know that he has this love for Italian football, and he doesn't want to go to Malmo, even though Malmo are sitting top of the Swedish league. They'll be halfway through their season by now because they start during a sensible time and play during the summer when you can play football rather than the winter when it's cold and dark. But then again, in Sweden, it's really dark during the winter, really cold. I wouldn't want to go there. Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting one that Gustav Lagerbielke has knocked back the chance to go back to Sweden. So he's still holding out for a team in Italy to come in for him. Tell me what you think about that in the comment section. Now, obviously, the Adam Eder situation has been clarified. It hasn't been announced as yet. But yesterday evening, Chris Sutton did say it's a good move for all, Adam Eder, Celtic and Norwich. He said that on Twitter. But then on the other side of it, his one-time partner in crime, John Hartson, said, seems a lot of money for Celtic, but if Adam bangs in the goals, the fee will soon be forgotten, with a little four-leaf clover. And John Hartson's right. I mean, we can all have our opinion on Adam Eder situation, but the fact is that he's back. And once Celtic get it officially announced, we can all be happy, but we do need more players in. Now, never mind about players coming in. What about players leaving? Now, we all know that there was a club down south, Brighton, who had made that interest known in the one and only Matt O'Reilly. Now, it looks like that they have went for a German midfielder instead. So is it the fact that the doors are slowly closing on the Matt O'Reilly transfer saga this summer? With only 2 weeks to go, there's a high possibility that Celtic will be able to retain the services of the one and only Matt O'Reilly, which I think will be absolutely fantastic if we do. If this window shuts and we've still got Matt O'Reilly, me for one will be over the moon. But there's a couple of Southampton fans thinking that they might have a little bit of an edge now that Brighton has disappeared over the horizon. They've went in for a player in the region of 25 million. 25 million. That's round about the money that Celtic want for Matt O'Reilly. But Brighton have went for someone else. So it will remain to be seen if the only last man standing is the low ball team from Italy. Yes, the low ball team from Italy that's come in with 4 offers, not 5 so far. Now we're going to end up on an old favourite that has been linked with a move back to Celtic again this summer. He's been linked with Celtic before, but he left for the riches of the Saudi League. Yes, Felipe Jota. Jota. If only. And from Jota has let it be known that he wants to leave the Saudi team. He's right down the pecking order. It will have to be said that he only went there for the money, but it has been said because it has turned sour for Jota, he now wants to return to European football to get his career back on track. I did say at the time, it was crazy Jota going to Saudi. It was, I thought that if we can keep, Matt O'Reilly needs to look at this situation and this scenario. For me, if we had Jota in the Champions League last season, Jota would have absolutely excelled at the fact at being able to play Atletico Madrid. I think playing the Madrid twice in 2 years, he would have excelled at that. I think playing Feyenoord, he would have excelled at that. But I think overall, being in the Champions League for another season would have brought Jota on to the next level again if he'd stayed with Celtic. I didn't think it was absolutely crazy that Jota went to Saudi. Listen, nobody's going to knock back 10 million a year. Let's face facts about it. I mean, he only had to go there for the 1 year. And he's made for life as a player. You know, he's made for life. He can pick and choose what team he wants to go to now just to play football, as far as I'm concerned. But it is a short career that these footballers do have. And in the modern game, it's very, very rarely that you get the opportunity to make the kind of money that Jota made over the last year. But he did put out, before he left, the class of 22-23 had graduated, thank you very much, which said that he knew he wanted to go. But it has been suggested that Jota could come back to Celtic. He's never coming back to Celtic, is he? He's never coming back to Celtic. It'll be interesting to watch that over the next couple of weeks. I, for one, would you take him back? Yeah, I would take him back in a minute. Of course, you would take him back. It's a player that wants to get his career back on track. And I think I'm coming back to Celtic. He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need the massive amounts of money. His agent might think otherwise and might try and get him 100 grand. He's never going to get that. He's never going to get even half the amount of money that he got in Saudi. Let's face facts. But the thing is, he's been linked with Celtic once again. Will he come back to Celtic? I don't know. I don't think so. Tell me what you think in the comments section. And finally, just a big shout out to Stephen Johnson, whose carer put in the comments. Just so you know, Stephen cannot read or write. If you can read out the comments for him, he's a big fan of your channel. I'm his support worker writing this for him. He will reply with emojis, thanks. And that generally comes down to the live chat. And I do try and read out as many as the comments in the live chat as possible. When you're a member, and after you've been a member for a month, your comments are highlighted, I think, in the live chat, which will make it even easier to make sure that I read out the members' comments. If you want to join, hit the link that's in the first in the channel description. Never done that on this one before, ever. Anyway, on that note, have a fantastic day. What about Gustav Lagerbielke? It's a strange one, that, isn't it? Anyway, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.